Hello and welcome. So in this video we'll learn about Amazon Cognito or AWS Cognito. So basically Cognito is about providing authentication service that can be web or Android or iOS device. So that can be for application or website. So in this video we'll learn about how to start with creating a user pool. So user pool is nothing but a user directory. There we can manage the users, active users, or adding new users, editing some attribute of the user, like let's say email or changing the password. Like these sort of things can be done by the user pool. So what's the benefit of using Cognito? So basically Cognito helps us in authorization. So authentication means you let the user in. I mean, when you decide who is your user by the help of username and password, that is known as the process authentication. While the authorization is once you recognize that this is this user, this is user A and this is user B, then you assign some permission. That is authorization. Like what one user can do, each authorization. To authorize a user to access your certain resources, each authorization. Then the user management can easily be done by the help of Cognito. There are social login like Apple, Google, Facebook and Amazon as well in the social login. Then access control, as I told you about authorization, and then the migration. So this is important case. In the case of migration, let's say you already have a database, and in this, let's say you have your previous database setup, and that is, let's say, MySQL or some Postgres that currently contains all of your users, and you want to move these users into your Cognito, right? So in that case, if you're moving your users, I mean your authentication system from MySQL to Cognito, then this migration part will be helpful, and we do this by the help of Lambda functions. So Lambda sits in between the Cognito as well as in MySQL, and we will look how to generate various triggers that are provided by Cognito service. The application of Cognito in Android or Flutter or other clients can be done with the help of Amplify as well. So Amplify helps to integrate Cognito with the help of libraries project, and there is SDK as well, so that can also be utilized. So these are main two approaches. Cognito also provides hosted UI, so that can also be utilized to integrate with your front-end client. So how you integrate Cognito with front-end? So you have Amplify option as an option, you have SDK, and you have the hosted UI as well. So we'll look into it, how to use these things. Now as per the payment, Amazon Web Services charge Cognito on the basis of MAUs, that is monthly active users. So let's say if some user have some operation like sign in or token refresh or password change, in that case that user will be counted as monthly active user, and on the basis of monthly active users the Cognito provides the billing. Next thing is, in the free tier 50,000 monthly active users are free for Cognito, so it's not that costly per se, okay? And if you compare it with Okta, then you can think about your use cases and chargings. One thing is to note here is that that Amazon Cognito provides the support for JWT. So basically, when you successfully sign in or login, in the case of Cognito, you are given with the JWT token, and then this JWT token will contain the header and the payload, and this payload will be containing the user pool ID, the other user attributes like email, username, as well as the client ID. So we will look into this sort of things. Now as I told you, in the case of Cognito, you can integrate the same authentication service with the help of multiple clients. Let's say you might have one Android client, one React client. Okay, so they both can use the same user directory or user pool with the help of different client, and each client will have a different client ID. Okay, so in short, Cognito helps us to manage our authentication service. So that have its own database, that is in the user pool, its own APIs to integrate with other services. So this is a true microservice kind of architecture if you are trying to build. So let's head over to this Cognito console of AWS and let's create a user pool. So in the case of creating a user pool, you can go to create user pool. Then there are certain flexibilities provided here, and the one such flexibility is you can add the attributes or you can create your custom attribute. So let's jump over it. So first is the sign-in experience. So authentication providers. So if you choose the federated identity provider, that means Google, Facebook, Amazon or Apple, so you can select this. There are two more, that is SAML and OpenID Connect. If you select, these will be integrated there, then you can pick whatever you want. So let's go with these. Then Cognito user pool sign-in option. You want to sign in by the username, by the email or by the phone number as per your requirements. So let's tick the phone number here. Then let's select Facebook and Google for now. Click next. Then the security requirement. So default is of 8 characters, the password. It's about password policy. So you can create your custom. Let's say I just want 4 character long password and that contains at least one number. And let's say if administrator is saving the password, the date of expiry will be 7 days. So what happens in scenario like let's say you have a admin user, and if somebody forgets, then you can set the password and that password will have the lifetime of 7 days. Then the multi-factor authentication. So is it required or not? So let's say no MFA required, or you can select with the require MFA. Then authentication like TOTP app, Google Authenticator provided by the Play Store, you can use that, or by the SMS. So let's go with the SMS. But if you go with the SMS, then you have to integrate either the SNS service, or you can, for now we can select the by default Cognito SMS service as well. Okay, but I'm selecting the no MFA to keep it simple. Then user account recovery. User account recovery is about let's say if somebody forgets the password, how he will be recovering his account. So is self recovery, if you select it, then forget your password will come. So we definitely want a option forget your password to appear. So let's set it. Then how you want to deliver the recovery message, by SMS, by email, or SMS if available, otherwise email, or email if available, otherwise SMS. So this sounds more secure. Select next. We have to enter. Okay, so yeah, it's between 6 to 99, so let's say 6. Then comes sign up. In the case of sign up, when we create a new user, it's about registration. So we definitely want people to be self-registering. Let's say if you have a service there, you want only the admin to create your account, then you can disable this. Now again and again I'm saying admin. So there are actually two type of things. If you jump over to Boto library, so there is Cognito identity provider option, and in this case you just can import the Boto 3 and can access it. There are certain things which are for the admin, and then certain things which are for the user. These are for a general user and these are for the admin. Like admin can create a user, so this require the admin credential, right? Otherwise a general user can create by the help of sign up. Okay, confirm sign up, and there must be one sign up. This, so we are talking about this sign up currently, that I as a simple person can go there. I am not an admin, but I can create an account. So for this API I need client ID, the hash. We will talk about both of these things, but for the time being you can think about the username, password, and other attributes like the birthday is at this date, or my gender is male, like that. There are some other data as well, and these things, and especially the client metadata, will be required when we talk about the triggers, the lambda triggers. Okay. Lastly, let's go back again. Then attribute verification and user account confirmation. This actually, like which attribute to verify, so you can keep it as it is. And if you need some extra attribute, let's say I need to keep my name here, or let's say gender, so I can select those attributes, or let's say name. So I want to keep it simple for now, but let's say only name will be fine. Or we can add some custom attribute. I want to add one attribute that is very important, let's say password. Okay, and I will let you know why I'm doing it. And the minimum length, let's say it's 6, and the max, or let's don't assign anything, and save it. Now next comes to the message delivery. So message delivery, I will pick the Cognito because I don't want to go into SES for now. And in the case of SMS, I want to create a new role here. So let's say role is my Cognito SMS role in the Mumbai region. That's fine. Now federated entities, here since I have selected Google and Facebook, so I have to pick, I have to fill the client ID and client secret and then their scope as well. Okay, so let's go to here. If we can just disallow and only go with Cognito, so that will be better. Now integrate your app. So let's say this user pool that I'm creating is for a university, so I will fill, let's say, a university, and these are all students, so this is for the student app. And I definitely want to use the hosted UI. We will discuss about hosted UI in detail. Then for now I don't have any custom domain, but we can definitely use a custom domain, and there is 1-2 other procedures to assign the custom domain by the help of Route 53. Okay, so that we can discuss in the very end of this series. But for now let's have the Cognito domain, then the client. So we are having, what's the client? So Cognito is like a service, and this service will be utilized by various clients. The one client can be your React client, one client can be, let's say, some Android client, or some iOS client, or let's say iOS Prod, iOS Dev. So these type of client can be there. So every client will have its own redirect URI. What the purpose of redirect URI? Let's say I am on React website, so I want to be redirected at localhost 3000 in my development environment, or let's say on dev.xyz.com in my staging environment. So I have to create different client for them, and that client ID will be utilized by my APIs. Okay, so let's say I have a public client, and this is my React Dev. Okay, and I don't want a client generate, and usually ignore this because most of the APIs that we will be going to use don't support client secret for now. So I'm filling a localhost address here. So let's say 127. Okay, and every time we have the access token and the ID token generated, and let's keep the life simple of 10 minutes, and these will expire in 10 minutes, but by the help of refresh token we'll generate new tokens, new access token and new ID token. Okay, then comes the token revocation, and this is very important. These two things are very crucial. You will get into the error if you are not sure about these things. And do you want to revoke the token? If I want to revoke the token, then some extra information will be there in my token that need to be embedded. Okay, And the second thing is prevent user existence error. So let's say I have a user abc.com and I want to again let's say give it for sign up. So whether the user existence error, that this user already exists, this should come or not. This is about this particular user existence error. So do you want to prevent that or not, that particular user exists? So sometimes what happens is, let's say you have user abc.com. So in this case abc user, even if you select even if you say forget your password, and even if the abc do not exist, then it will say the password has been sent, because you have prevented the error. So just the best idea is to deselect it. So in this case, let's say the user is not existing, it will say okay, your user is not existing, so I'm not preventing the error to be there, and that's the normal case. I don't know what the purpose of giving this. And let these things be here. Then you can give the attribute read and write permission. Currently we only have the custom password that we created, and I guess email, or I selected name, I guess, yeah, name there. And so this will say we need HTTPS, so you can just write a localhost, it will work. And here we have to give, let's say, any name, so university, or let's take my name here. Oh, this is working.